Welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're here for another episode of The Final Pour. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in, get comfortable, enjoy the show. For all my returning viewers, always good to see you again. You know how we do. Let's get on with it, shall we? So here we are doing the third and final episode of the Tom Horan Irish whiskey. It is the finest blended. So in case you didn't get the full review of that, go ahead and go back and check that out. Some good information, kind of unique information about this Irish whiskey. Looks kind of just about... I was having a late night session and just hanging out with old Tom here, and kind of got carried away after a little bit, and I kind of got to that point where I'm like, this feels kind of light, and I was like, oh crap, time to put it away until we put it to bed. So you do have that beautiful color. It is a nice, beautiful color. Forget what we pegged that at, but on the nose, it's very mellow. As I said before, it's somewhat reminiscent of Jameson, but a little different. Like it makes me think of Jameson, or J&B Rare, but that's a Scotch. But it's that whole thing where the Jameson is the way it is and how J&B Rare is the way it is. It's like kind of like a sleeper deal. Like it doesn't really grow on, it grows on you. It takes time for you to really get to understand the spirit. And that's like Jameson. I'll know a lot of people only, if they've ever tried an Irish whiskey, they've only tried the most popular one, and that's a Jameson. Most places carry Jameson, most bars and restaurants and whatnot, they carry Jameson. When it comes to Scotch, there's probably a whole plethora that they would have, but amongst them would definitely be the J&B Rare. Why? Because they're abundant and they're inexpensive. Well, there are a lot of places they're inexpensive. But then they're rarely ever liked because most people don't give them enough time to get used to them. Much like old Tom here. Me and old Tom, we got to know each other pretty well the other night. And you saw what it was. This was the remaining amount of that bottle after a decent long session into the evening. We got some viscosity back on this glass. Very thin legs, but hey, that's a lot better than what we've been seeing from anything else lately. On the nose, still, it's relatively muted, like it's turned down a few notches, but it's still there. It's still got some strength to it. You get some sweetness, sort of like honey, sweet, like almost citrus and oakiness. That's kind of weird. It kind of matches that. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. I think there's that hole in the lip again. Let me set that down real quick. I got to get that sealed up. My nose is starting to run. It's not from the whiskey. The weather's a changing, and that wreaks a little havoc on Mr. Randy's sinuses. Let me get a finish on this real quick while I'm thinking about it. The palate is relatively mild and mellow. I'm going to go ahead and work on this finish real quick. And that is the best viscosity I've seen out of this glass in a while. I'm going to go ahead and finish that off. There's a little bit. Much better on the finish, but on the palate. But the palate's still light, mellow. Like I said, turned down a little bit. Still there, still nice. The palate comes off like a sweet, gingery, spicy. Not too spicy. I say the spice intensity is probably like a 2 out of 5, but it carries well. Not too bad, old Tom. Not too bad at all. So the finish, as I said, mild, mellow, turned down a little bit, especially now that we're at the end of this whole ordeal. It's not too bad. I've had many a whiskeys that were not this good on the final pour. It's kind of lingering on. It's still got a strength and it lingers. So this is a pretty nice finish. The palate wasn't too promising, but it really came through on the end and the finish. The nose is relatively delightful as it is light and nice, sweet, and a little bit of a spice. Not a whole lot. You get a little more spice on the palate, a lot more of that spice on the finish. Everything seems to work through. It's like an escalation. But there it is. Thank you, old Tom, for everything that you did for us Irish, or us descendants of Irish here in Texas. Thanks for speaking for us. And, well, let us know what you think of old Tom in the comments section. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. You have a good one.